Puppet president is Pelosi pulled in the Biden strings. You guys might have heard, this might not have the 19 seconds is certainly worth it, but it's a little concerning to say the very least that you could see Nancy on the screen up here. So he's obviously talking to Nancy. It doesn't necessarily mean Nancy's quilt the one in the basement, but in this particular case, it does seem like Nancy is pulling the strings. Kind of check it out and I'd be happy to take questions. If that's you, I'm supposed to do Nance, whatever you want me to do. No, we don't want him to talk. Wow. Him to talk. I don't want him to talk like Biden was asking you and you're like, no. We don't want him to talk. Which? Yeah, of course you don't because Biden says all the stupidest, craziest stuff in the world, but it's interesting that Nancy seems to be the one, pulling the strings. Again, a lot of questions as to whether or not Nancy is going to survive, whether or not the Democrats are still going to be in power in the House. Come 2022. Obviously we've got to deal with 2020 first and we are doing that and we're hardening the 2022 elections at the same time. And so a lot of this information it's going to continue to come out. Deep State's been working really hard to sway the opinion of everybody. And we have been working very hard to show how they're not, and we are definitely winning this war again. It's going to ramp up the Deep State's going to pull the plug, going to do some sort of crazy thing they are not going to give up trying. They are a cornered animal that is very dangerous. So be mindful, be aware of what's going on. Another great example of how we, the people, are fighting back. State of Ohio. Google is a public utility and must be regulated like one. This is pretty awesome. Attorney General Dave Yest wants internet search engine. Google does, is designated as a public utility rather than a public company to rein in how it provides search results to Ohioans. According to the lawsuit filed Tuesday, Yost called the lawsuit landmark saying Google is discriminatory and anti-competitive. He filed the lawsuit in Delaware County Court. Instead, Ohio is the first state in the country to bring such a lawsuit. Google uses its dominance of internet search to steer Ohioans to Google's own products that describe that's discriminatory and anti-competitive when you own the railroad or the electric company or the cell phone tower. You have to treat everyone the same and give everybody access yet. Google doesn't. They control that. So again, the first real lawsuit slamming Google, this is going to be huge. Twitter's got similar things going on. People are suing CNN. A lot of things, lawsuits, and we've heard the lawsuits are, what's going to cause these companies to crush under their own weight, under their own horrible policies that they've been making in the past. They are going down now. Wouldn't surprise me if they maybe try to move to another country or something. I don't think they could. But I mean, Google is sitting in a tough place right now and they're not going to survive this the way they want to. Also Minneapolis writer, a writer who burned the precinct sentenced to prison. Ordered to pay $12 million crap. That's a bunch of license plates that you're going to be needing to make their big guy man involved in the burning down on the Minneapolis Police Department. 3rd Precinct during the riots that followed the death of George Floyd last summer was sentenced to prison this week, ordered to pay $12 million. Brian or Bryce, sorry. Michael Williams. 27-year-old was conveniently sent to 27 months. Look at that, a month for every year of your life. Oh, look at that. Long story short, all 4 defendants charged in federal court. I've now been sentenced to, for their individual roles in the burning and near total destruction of the Minneapolis police departments. 3rd Precinct building. Mr. Williams and his co-defendant have been held accountable for their dangerous and destructive actions. I think our federal, state and local partners who pursued justice in these cases. And supposedly what he did, he was the one that, people were of course yelling, burned down the building, but he's the one that I think we showed pictures of this forever ago. Video of this guy opens up the door with a lit Multac cocktail and throws it inside. Then I guess they threw a box on top of the fire. And was one of the people directly responsible with burning down this building, and he just got 27 months of prison, and yeah, he's got to pay a lot of money. I'm not sure how that's going to play out because odds are that dude's never going to make $27 million. We'll see. Visuals resigned after censoring vet's Memorial Day speech. This is pretty messed up. So 2 officials have resigned after they fueled outrage for censoring a veteran's speech. During a Memorial Day event, the officials, 2 women who helped organize, turned this off. We've got the officials, 2 women who helped organize the event. And Hudson, Ohio initially claimed they had every right to censor the veteran's speech by turning off his microphone, stating that segments of his speech didn't fit the program's theme of honoring the city's veterans. Remember that part, honoring the city's veterans? So here's what they continue. They knew exactly when to turn the volume down and when to turn it back up, said Roger Friend, a department commander of the Ohio American Legion, The segment of the speech the officials had an issue with revolved around how freed black slaves had honored fallen soldiers. Soon after the Civil War. Yeah. They didn't like that. They didn't like how they were talking about how black slaves stepped up to fight for this wonderful, great American country, even slaves. It doesn't really fit their narrative really well. Does it? So they shut down his microphone. They didn't like that. Well, these two officials have had to step down. That's what happens when you do those types of things. Speaking of those types of things, Vermont, Republican, Governor Republican. So he's obviously a rhino. Phil Scott wants non-citizens to be able to vote in local elections. Why they're not citizens? Sorry. You're not a citizen. You don't get to vote. That comes with citizenship. If you want to be able to vote, then get in line for your citizenship. If you somehow come into this country illegally and you can't get your citizenship, then go back to your country, apply for citizenship, and then come back to the United States. I'm sorry. It's not even a black and white issue. I'm very open to people coming from all over the world. That's fantastic. We shouldn't have an overwhelming majority of people coming from places just south of the United States. We should be getting people from all over the world. That's the ideal situation. And certainly people that are coming here illegally. And then expecting free stuff once they're here. Sorry, that's again not what this is about. We're a wonderful nation because we love our country, because we support what is best for our country. We make America first, not everyone else. And then America's last. No. So again, if you're not a citizen, you shouldn't get to vote. Sorry, talk to your friends and say, hey, here's who I'd love to see you vote for him. Maybe you'll influence them otherwise. Sorry, you don't get to vote. It's just how it works. Israel warns Hezbollah that strikes on Gaza were, okay. Really the tip of the iceberg. They are definitely throwing the threat factor. Big time that if they continue this, or maybe they're even pushing forward anyway. But I have a funny feeling. They're basically saying any missiles, get lobbed at us. We are coming down on you hard, not just that. They specifically say whoever hides weapons in their house, endangers their children. Sounds like to me, Israel has taken the gloves off and they say, look, if you're going to put rocket launch facilities in the middle of schools, in the middle of the hospital, in the middle of a house, we're going to strike it. We don't care. Maybe we'll give you some warning because you're not going to be able to move the rockets or the launchers before we strike, but maybe you can get the people out. And we've seen examples of them doing just that. So again, Hezbollah wanted the ceasefire. The ceasefire was negotiated. We all understand it was so they could rearm and get ready to attack. Some more Israel is preparing for it as well. 'Cause everybody can see the writing on the wall. Well, apparently Virginia is the next state to send delegates to Maricopa County, more states to come, and super true in fact is we've got 10 states. 10 different states right now. We've got, Arizona, obviously we've got Virginia, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, Alaska, Colorado, New Hampshire and Nevada. We're to see Colorado on their super left-leaning state. They're all so high on pot. How could they possibly, do anything else but eat chips? I don't know, but that somehow they're going to manage to do an audit. Be curious to see how that plays out, but again, from what everyone's saying, and we don't know until we know, but 49 of the 50 states, it seems, or most likely won by Trump. The only state that wasn't was New York. That's what we are likely to find out if the rest of these states follow suit. I'm quite sure we'd find out California voted predominantly Republican if given the option. I think that's why Gavin Newsom decided to remove the opening back up on June 15th. And now he's saying it's going to be September or some crazy crap before he opens the state back up, which my guess is it's going to be after he is already recalled. So it sounds like he's punishing Californians for pushing forward. With the recall, again, this is how the deep state works. They know they're screwed. So now they're going to punish us because they don't give a crap about you or me. Now here's the thing, you and me give a crap about this country. And so long as we keep fighting for this country, these people don't stand a chance, and here's 10 more states that are going to make it very difficult for the deep state to continue to win. This is just stupid. And, where do we go from here really? Right. So there's a monkey statue that is to be given an explanatory label to prevent offending people. Following BLM protests, make a wish for the monkey. So again, we've got to somehow spell out that we're not meaning this in sort of a racial derogatory term. It's a monkey. It doesn't resemble a person at all. There was a lot of people that got mad because they took Obama's ears and he had, kind of monkey ears almost. And someone did a picture of him. Hey, yeah. That's pretty bad. 'Cause now you've made a monkey look like something. Yeah. That's pretty messed up. This is a monkey that looks like a monkey and it made me worry. Like what if you're somebody that has kids? And you've got a brother named Tom, what then happens? I feel bad for those situations. And if I got to connect those dots for you, sorry for those of you that can connect those dots, you'll understand. It's kind of a weird place that we're in the world where suddenly you're referring to this brother of yours by uncle and his first name. And then afterwards you're like, oh, but I don't mean that in a racial way. Yeah. I know you were talking about your brother, Tom. I totally understood. I didn't assume you meant a racial thing, right? That's racism, by the way. When you instantly assume it's a racist remark, that someone meant, that means your brain's wired on race. That means you're the racist, the person that's perceiving it as that's a racist comment. Yeah. Because you're racist because your mind works that way. I was talking about Tom, my brother. Who are you talking about? And that's the difference between a lot of these people. The people are waking up. This is absurd though. Make kind of spell out the fact that this is just a monkey. Come on.
Cảm ơn này. Tôi đi. Sao giờ này